Hi everyone. In this video, we will discuss all the questions of chapter 5 of practical book, that is file handling. Now the first question is to consider the file sarojinipoem.txt. The poem goes like this. So there is the title of the poem and there are few lines in this poem. Now let's see what to do with this poem. Now what would be the output of the following code? Here you can see the file is opened in read mode and the file is read with the help of the function readLines, and the output is stored in a variable called text. So as you know, readLines function will read the file line by line, and the lines will be stored in a form of list, and where each line is considered as a string. Each line will be a string and the output will be a total list. That means it is a list of strings, and that is stored in a variable called text. Now the file is closed. Now with a for loop, the lines are printed, the text is printed line by line. That means for line in text print line, then there is one more print after the for loop. So what this for loop will do, it will print the content of text line by line. That means we'll get the output like this. As you can see, the output is like this. That means the content of the file is read line by line and it is printed. Now modify the program so that the lines are printed in reverse order. So here we have to take the file object, file, and we are opening the file sarojinipoem.txt in read mode. Then it is reading the file line by line and the output is stored in a variable called text. Now we'll close this file. Now for line in text, reverse line is a variable which will store the reverse of each line. By using this one within line, we have to just write this colon -1. That means the line will be printed in reverse order, each line. Now we have to print this reverse line within the loop. Now you can see the output. Now you see the output is like this. Every line is printed in reverse order. Now this next question is just the same thing, but little bit modification will be done with the code. That is, modify the code so as to output to another file instead of the screen. And let your script override the output file. Now to do that, you have to just open that file in reading mode. Then you have to read the lines and store the output in a variable text. Now close that file. Now again open another file output.txt in write mode. So what will happen once a file is opened in write mode, then if the file is already existing, then its content will be overwritten or else a new file will be created. So this is the new file output.txt. Within that file, we have to write the lines in reverse order. So we have to use the same for loop to make the reverse of the lines. And instead of printing the lines, we will just write it into this file. This file object is file.write function. Within that, you have to pass reverse line. Now close this file. I can see the content of the file output.txt is like this. The reverse lines are printed or written in this file output.txt. Now modify the script so that it appends the output to an existing file. The same thing, but here instead of overwriting, we will append the content of this file to some other existing file. So for that purpose, first of all, we have to open this file sarojinipoem.txt in read mode. Then you have to read the file line by line and store the content in a variable text. Now close this file. Now again open one more file, let's say abc.txt, which is already present, having some content in it. Now whatever is the content of this one, sarojinipoem.txt, that the lines will be reversed, and this reverse line will be written in this new file abc.txt. And for that we have opened this file in append mode so that its existing content will not be overwritten. Now I can see the content of this abc.txt file. So here you can see the content of abc.txt is like this. That means the file is already having some content. There is one line of text is already there. That is think good, speak good, do good, and eventually you will be good. So this is the existing content of this file abc.txt. With that, this new content, that means the content of Sarojini poem.txt where the lines are reversed, that is appended with this file. Now modify the program so that each line is printed with a line number at the beginning. Now you just have to open the file in read mode and read the file and store the content in a variable text. Now close it. Now let's define a variable, let's say line number, which is initialized with 1. Now for line in txt, print line number, comma, the line. And every time the line number will be increased by 1. So that finally you will get the line numbers printed at the beginning of the line. Now let's see the output. You can see the output like this. The content of the file is printed and each line is like beginning with the line number 1, 2, 3, 4 like this. Finally, there are 14 number of lines in this text. Now write a program to print the following type of statistics for the given file. That means it will show the number of lines in the file and number of empty lines in the file, number of average characters per line and average characters per non-empty line. These are the things it has to display. Now first open the file sarojini-poem.txt in read mode. Then we'll read the file by using the method readLines and store the output in a variable called text. Now again we have to read the file by using read function so that we will read the number of characters present in the file. So for that purpose we have to again apply file.read function, but since readlines function is already called, so now your pointer will be at the end of the file. So to bring it to the beginning of the file, we have to use seek method. So by using seek function, we are passing the value 0, 0. That means it will go to the beginning of the file. Now again, it will read the whole file or the entire file by using read function. And the output is stored in a variable called chars. That means it will store the number of characters present in the file. We can get it by using the function length function. Length, within that we have passed characters, so it will print the total number of characters present in that particular file. Now to calculate the number of lines and empty lines, we have defined some variables, total underscore lines, which is initialized with 0, and empty underscore lines, which is also initialized with 0. Now with the help of a for loop, we can write for line in text, total lines will be incremented by 1 every time in the loop. Now with a condition, it will check if line.each space is equal to true. So each space is a function which will return true if the line contains only space. That means there is no character in that line. That means it's an empty line. So if that is true, then empty lines variable will be increased by 1. Now we got total lines and we got number of empty lines. Now characters per line that we have to store in a variable, let's say chars underscore line. So there we can calculate number of characters per line, that is total number of characters divided by total number of lines. That will give you total characters per line. Now we have just rounded this figure, after decimal point there will be 1 digit, so rounded up to 1 digit. Now next is characters per non-empty lines. Now number of characters per non-empty lines we have stored in a variable chars underscore ne line, which will be calculated like this: total characters divided by total number of lines minus empty lines. Total number of lines minus empty lines means non-empty lines. So total characters divided by number of non-empty lines. And that value is also rounded up to 1 digit. Now we will just print these values as given in the question. First it will print total number of lines, that is that many number of lines in the file. Next empty lines, it will store the number of empty lines. Then characters per line, it will store average characters per line. Now print characters underscore NA line, that means average characters per non-empty line. So this is how it will print out now. Now let's see the output. I can see the output like this. There are 14 lines in the file and 2 empty lines and 28.9 average characters per line and 33.8 average characters per non-empty line. So like this, you got the statistics as per the question. Now write a program that asks a new user about user ID and password and then appends it to the file security.txt, provided the given user ID does not exist in the file. So if it does, then display error message user ID already exists and prompts the user to re-enter the user ID. And also make sure that the password is at least 8 characters long with at least a digit and a special character out of $@ in it. Now what we will do, first of all, we have to create a file security.txt having some user ID and password already in it. Now we'll write a program which will ask the user to enter a new user ID. And if it will check whether that user ID is already present in the file or not. If it is already present, then it will display one error message that it already exists, and it will ask for the new user ID. And once you give a user ID which is not present in the file, then it will ask you for the password. Then it will check for the validity of the password also. Now we'll do this program. So as I told you, first of all, you have to create a file security.txt with some user ID and password within it. Now you have to open this file in read mode. Now just to read the content of the file by using the function readLines, and this will read the content line by line, and the output is stored in a variable called content. Now close the file. Now the next thing is that we have to ask for the user ID, then we'll check whether this user ID is present in this file or not. So for that purpose, we have to declare two variables, user ID and password. And these two variables I have declared as global because it will be used within the while loop. And after the loop also, we have to access these values. So I have kept them global. Now we'll take the help of a while loop. While flag is a variable which is initialized with true. So while flag user ID is equal to input, enter the user ID. That means it will ask the user to enter the ID. And the ID which is entered by the user, that is stored in the variable user underscore ID. Now for line in content, that means it will read the content. Content stores the output of the file. It will read it line by line. And it will check if user ID in line. That means if the user ID which is given by the user is present in line, in any of the line, then it will print already exist. Then flag value will become true and it will break. That means it will come out of the loop. Otherwise, flag value will be false. So that this while loop will again execute. That means it will ask for one more user ID. Now we will go to the else part. This else is with respect to the for loop. That means once this for loop is completed, then it will go to the else part. So within this for loop, your user ID part will be covered. That means it will ask the user for the user ID. If the ID is already present, then it will print already exist. If it is not present, then it will again ask to enter one more user ID. Now what will be done after that? That is mentioned in the else part. So this else refers to this for, not to any if. Okay, that means else part, as you know in Python, else is associated with for loop and while loop also, which is not in any other programming language. So what will happen? Whatever is present in this for loop, once it gets executed, then it will execute whatever is present in the else part. In the else part, it is shown that flag is equal to true. We have just converted this variable to true. Now while flag, that means while true, it will ask for the password. Password is equal to input, enter the password. It will ask the user to enter the password, and whatever password is entered by the user, that will be stored in a variable called password. Now it will check for the validity of this password. The conditions are like this: if the length of the password is greater than or equal to 8, that means it should not be less than 8. And it should contain any digit. So for that purpose, I have used a function called any. Any, within that I have passed c dot is digit for c in password. That means it will check, c represents the characters present in the password. It will check all the characters which are present in the password. And if any of the character is digit, that means it is returning true for each digit function. That means the whole condition becomes true. And the next condition is C in dollar at the rate and percent. There's a list. I have kept these special characters within a list. That means the character is any of the special characters for C in password. That means the characters which are present in password, that any of the character can be either a dollar or at the rate or percent. Then when these three conditions are satisfied, which are given in this if condition, then flag value will be false. That means it will not ask for any more password. Otherwise, it will print not a valid password and flag will be true. Once flag value will be true means again while loop will be executed. That means it will again ask the user to enter a password. Now, once it will get a valid password, then what will happen? It will open this file security.txt in append mode. Then it will write this new user ID and password into this file security.txt. Now close this one. Now let's run this program and see. Now I can see the first security.txt file which I've already created with some user ID and password. It is written like this. So this is the initial content of security.txt. Now after executing the program, let's say while executing, I have entered, it is asking to enter the user ID. The first ID that I entered is Satyam, and that ID is already present in this list. So it will print the ID already exists. Now the next time we'll run the program, it will ask for one more user, not the next time, in the same only it will ask to enter one more user ID. And next time I have entered the name as Sharan. Now this is taken because this ID is not present in this file. Now it will ask to enter a password, and here I've given a password like Sharan123, and here this password is not containing the special character, so it's not a valid password, so it's printing not a valid password. That is again asking to enter the password. Now this time I have entered the password as Sharan1, and this time also it will not accept because it's not a valid password. And again, next time it will ask for the password, and I have entered the password as like this, $12. So it is meeting the criteria. So it will take this password. Now what will happen? This new user ID and password that will be appended with this file, and you can see the content of the file security.txt is like this. Sharan is the new user ID which is appended at the end of this file. Now given a file mine.txt as shown below is containing some lines. I am line 1, then there is one empty line, then I am line 3. Now what would be the output of the following code? I can see the file is read. Actually the file is first of all has to be opened in reading mode. Then by using the function file.readlines, you can read the file and can print the output. Or else the same thing can be done like this. Within print only, we have to open this file in read mode, and you can call the readlines function there. So basically it is reading the lines by using readlines function, which will read the file line by line and return a list of strings where each string is the content of each line. So you can see the output is like this. I am line 1 and the next line is there. That is the first string of this list. The second string is the empty line. That means the next line. And the third string is I am line 3. That is the third string. So there are three strings which is kept within a list. So this is actually your content of mine.txt file, which is like this. There are two lines written. In between there is one empty line. So this is the output. Now this is a very easy program where the user has to provide a file name, and it will read the content of the file and print it in the uppercase. So for that purpose, we have to take a variable f, and the file name which is entered by the user, that will be stored in a variable f. Now with the help of open function, we are opening the file in reading mode and stored in a file object called file. Now it's reading the file by using read function, and the output is stored in a variable text. Now we have to just print the text in uppercase by using upper function. So you have to call text.upper within print statement. Then you can see the output. Now once you run the program, it will ask the user to enter a file name. Let's say I have entered a file with name message.txt, which I have created. Here you can also pass any file name which is there in your system, or you can create any text file. Then you can see the output is like this. Whatever is the content of the file message.txt, that is read and that is displayed in line by line. So there are 6 lines in this file, and it is read and it is shown, it is displayed in uppercase. All characters are in uppercase, but in actual message.txt file, the characters are not, all the characters are not in uppercase. Now write a program that reads a file and then creates a new file where each character's case is inverted. So here you can see first the same thing. The user has to enter a file name, and the file has to be opened in read mode. And once the file is read, it will be closed. Now we will open one more file. Let's say the name is new.txt, and this is opened in write mode. And here the content of the file will be written in inverted case. So to convert the cases, that means, so if it is an uppercase, then it has to be converted into lowercase, and otherwise vice versa. So that has to be done by the help of swap case function. With the help of text.swap case, it can convert the text the case of the text. So now I can write it into the file. Now it will ask for a file name. Let's say the file name I have entered is message1.txt. Now I can see the original content of message1.txt is like this. You can see it is containing some uppercase characters and some lowercase characters. But once you run the program, you can get the content of new.txt. New.txt is a new file in which the content will be written where the cases will be swapped. So here you can see the upper cases are converted into lowercase and the lowercase characters are converted into uppercase. So this is the content of new.txt file. Now create a file phonebook.dat that stores the details in following format. It is storing name and phone number like this. Name in a first column, phone number is the next column. Now obtain the details from the user. Now let's see how to create this file. Now the file is opened phonebook.dat in write mode. That means it will create a new file openbook.dat. Now we are writing the content in it, the details like this. First we will write the heading, that is name with a tab or space, then phone number, then next line, then file.write. You just have to enter the first value as per the question, the first name and the corresponding phone number separated by a tab. Then next line, then file.write the next name and the next phone number with the next line. The same thing you can do by using write lines method also, file.write lines. In that you have to pass the same thing, the content. Each lines will be stored in a represented in a string, and the entire thing within a list you have to pass. Then the next thing, we have opened the file in read mode. Then we are reading the file and printing the output. You can see The entire content is shown like this. Now write a program to append more details to the file phonebook.dt. To the same file, the file has to be opened in append mode because we have to append new data into it. Now we are creating two variables, name and ph, to store the name and phone number, and it will ask the user to enter a name and enter a phone number. These two input statements we can keep it in a single line also, no problem. Then we will write these things, file.write name plus one space or tab, then phone number value, which is stored in a variable ph, then plus next line. That means name and phone number will be appended into the file with a next line. And once you run the program, you can see it. Enter a name, it is asking for a name. Let's say I have passed the name as Arvind and the phone number is like this. In a second run, I have entered one more name, that is Geeta, and have entered the corresponding phone number. Then you can see these two values will be appended with your file phonebook.dat, and now the content of this file is like this. Name, phone number, which was already having two values, two records. Now it's having two more lines added into it, appended into it. So it is, the output is like this. Now write a program to edit the phone number of Arvind in file phonebook.dat. If there is no record for Arvind, report error. Now you see like this. So how we can do this? First, this is one way I had done. You have to read the entire content of the file phonebook.dat and store it in a variable called text. Now check in this whether the particular name that we want to check or to edit the phone number, that is present in this content or not. If it is not present, then it will give you the appropriate message. Otherwise, if it is present, then it will check for the corresponding phone number and it will change that phone number, and the changed number will be accepted by the user. And this updated, and that will be updated in this text, and a new text will be formed which will store the updated information, and this new content will be written to this file phonebook.dat. So this is how we can do it. So first of all, we have to read the content of the file phonebook.dat, so that we have to open it in read mode, and I have used the method read lines to read the content line by line, and is stored in a variable called text. Now I have created three lists. One is a list of names, another one is a list of phone numbers, another one is the list which will store the updated content or the new text with the updated phone number. Now, for line in text, with the help of a for loop, we will just iterate all the lines which are present in the text. So as you know, each line is a string. Now by using a split function, we will split the string because there is a tab in between the name and phone number. So the list will be splitted according to the tab. So whatever is the first part of the string, that is stored in a variable in the list called names. So names dot append lst of 0. lst of 0 will store the names, and lst of 1 will store the phone numbers. So phone numbers will be appended with a list called phones. So like this, we will get all the names which are present in the file in our list names, and the phone numbers in our list called phones. Now it will ask for a name to the user. So we will not just look for the name Arvind, so that it will ask the user to enter the name. It will check that particular name whether it is present in this file or not. So find name is a variable which will store the name that is entered by the user. Now it will check whether find name is present in the list of names or not. So if find name is not in names, then it will print name not found. Then it will go to the else part. That means if the name is present in the list of names, then what is it has to do? It has to edit the phone number of that particular name. That we will do in the next part. That means if the name is found in the list, that means the name is already present in the list. The next thing we have to do is to check for the phone number, and we will replace it with a new phone number. So for that purpose, I have taken a for loop, and here you can see the for loop is actually working on three things. That is names, phones, and text. There are the three lists which will be like checked by this for loop. So for ij line in names, phones, comma text. So if you use like this, then you have to use a function called zip. Zip function will allow you to iterate through two for loops or three for loops simultaneously. Like this you can do. So here I will iterate through the list of names, J will iterate through the list of phone numbers, and line will iterate through the line of text. Now if I is equal to find name, that means the name we are searching for, if that is I, then old phone number is a variable which will store the corresponding phone number of that particular name, that is J, that is stored in a variable old phone number. Now new phone number is another variable which will store the new phone number which will be entered by the user. Now line is equal to line dot replace old phone number comma new phone number. So by using replace function, we can replace the old phone number of that particular line with a new phone number, and you can add a next line also with the line. Now, this new text is a list which you have already created. With that, we have to append this particular line, which is updated or modified. Now, else part will check else also new text dot append that particular line. That means the other line will also be appended in the new text. Now, you can open this phonebook.dat, the same file, in a write mode now. Now we can write this new content or the new text within this file. So file one.write lines, within that you can pass the new text, and now close it. So this is how you can just check for the name which is whether it is present in the file or not. If it is not present, it will give you the message, or else if it is present, then it will ask for a new phone number, and it will modify or update the old phone number with the new phone number, and this updated data or updated text will be written into this file. I can see enter the name to be searched. Let's say I pass the name as Karthik, which is not present, so it is giving the output as name not found. In the second run, it is asking for a name to be searched, and here I pass the name as Arvind. Then it is asking to enter the new phone number, and I have entered a new phone number for Arvind. Now you can see the content of this file with the updated phone number is like this. This new phone number is replaced. That my old phone number is replaced by this new phone number, and you can check the old phone number which I have already given in the previous program. You can check with that one. So this is how we can update the content of a file. Now here ends the solutions of the practical book chapter 5, that is file handling, and we have discussed all the questions which are given in the practical book. And if there is any doubt, or if there is any question that you want to ask, then you can put it in comment section. Now stay tuned for more solutions and do subscribe. Thank you.